and then you try to find the balance with the energy of your client, with what you can bring in the elements of your decoration, your design,
Yes.
for the house.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
the flow and for the change.
I think some clients are very much aware of what they like or what they would
Yes.
like ideally in their homes, and obviously with those, the work flows very, very easily, because they usually know. I mean, you can feel it, like what appeals to you. I think obviously taking everything into consideration is very important, but aesthetics are super important, because like most of us are visual. I mean, we are.
The sound, and then we're talking about the silent sounds, is one of the other environmental stressors, the silent sounds inside the house, the electromagnetic field. That's very, I don't know if you have time for that, but that's a
Super
very interesting
important.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we try to look at the acoustics as well. Obviously depends on the project. I mean, there are really lovely decorative materials actually with acoustic properties. I think there's been a massive shift in, you know, development of the materials. And I mean, we've used, for example, acoustic wallpapers, not just in rooms where you necessarily would need them, like in cinema rooms, but even in a bedroom or somewhere it needs to be really quiet, and that noise needs to be toned down. So I mean, if we have time and if we can do something, we will look at that aspect as well. It really depends on the level of kind of changes that we go into within the room, because sometimes there are very minor changes, very aesthetic, and other times they are kind of deeper. I would say for renovations, obviously, where we can really look at everything from floor to ceiling, we go very deep. If we have to just furnish an existing place, obviously we are ourselves limited, and then we try to kind of compensate. I would say especially lighting. Lighting wise, yes, it's very, very important. So someone just commented, absolutely, I'm not sure about what was that, but I imagine about acoustics. And agreed, not sure, but yes, I think everything we're saying here is pretty much agreeable.
There is do you know that you were asking us about something that I wanted to mention that's very important. We are talking about where you sleep, your bedroom. And environmental stressor with that. So first, of course, we look at the sick mattress, you know, and then what would be a sick mattress? That would be, you know, the mattress that they have springs, yeah, and then the springs, not springs, sorry.
Sprung mattress. No, it's fine. It's
How
fine.
do you call them? How do you call them? I forgot.
You mean a sprung mattress, like with the rings? Don't worry, it's fine. Sometimes I forget the name or I make a mistake.
Together with the seasons, yeah. So those ones, they can disrupt the electromagnetic field of your cell. You can measure that with a compass. This is very interesting. Roy Riggs is very into that. And then once that is disrupted, your cellular communication is disrupted. So this is a very important piece of furniture, your mattress, that we don't look very much at that. And then like wooden beds that they'll have this isolation material. And also people, they keep a lot of mobiles, iPads and so on. And we don't hear that, because when I was talking about the acoustic, I have this electro smoke that you can measure sounds that we don't hear. This is very interesting. Like say, like if you put on, so if I get closer to the
phone, doesn't sound good.
So if I get closer to the wireless connector, you're gonna hear the post with like pulses as well,
or like a
Apple Watch. Then like if you leave them closer to your bed, you have those sounds that they are like waves. That they can interfere with your brain waves, and as a consequence your health. Are very interesting. So they use some of so firstly, when you sleep, you turn it off, put in airplane mode, but also you can use fabrics that can connect. Like this one is a silver fabric, and some like noise you put inside and goes away.
That's a wonderful tip, I think, for everyone who's watching, trying to do little things. What I also thought about, Angela, when you were talking about bedrooms and beds, we always say, like, good mattress, go and test it. We have some recommended ones. I mean, the most expensive one that I've ever seen in my life at one of the shows was £20,000.
Oh,
But it was just a work of art.
I can imagine.
um,
Made
yeah,
of gold.
there are obviously much more affordable, very good mattresses. But I
Yeah.
remember a while ago, I also did research into headboards because that interests me a lot. I think some clients really don't like headboards, and so I've done some research into it, and actually. Uh, According to my research and what I found out, they were used kind of, if I may say, in ancient by ancient civilizations, and they actually provide a lot of support. And especially, I think if you need grounding, if you need kind of to feel a bit more cocooned and safe, a headboard is definitely a way to go. But I would say making sure that they are made of good materials, that the bed is actually made of good material is very important. Because I think with the spread of a lot of products and products being, or interior products being affordable, there comes obviously the price, but what it does is that they're not necessarily made of high quality materials. Like you've mentioned before, maybe toxic paints have been used, maybe the actual material is not great, and that can also affect us with yeah,
Because it's
we
very
might not
important. You're
be,
gonna
yeah.
sleep at like 5 to 8 hours a day on
Mm,
smelling that, getting that up. So it's very important the quality of the material and the
yeah.
material itself, as you said, connecting to the elements. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah,
lots
this
of
is very important.
things, yes.
Yeah, we can talk like so many stuff.
Yes, I mean,
So
we kind
yeah,
of covered like my next question, which was like about the objects from inside and out. Maybe we can expand on that, because
yeah,
my next question was like, obviously they can interfere with our health, like for example, bad mattress, having too many electric kind of whatever appliances, little objects that can emit a lot of waves that we can't even hear, may disrupt the
yeah.
sleep. Um, but is there anything else, Angela, that you find in, obviously in your practice, in your experience and knowledge, that can interfere with our health, and what can we possibly do about it? Like this silver bag is amazing. Like I didn't
Yeah.
even know that you could do that.
Yeah, so there I always say like we are, imagine like when you were hunter gatherers and then we had that deep connection with our environment, and Feng Shui and Vastu and design as well is all about connecting us back to those elements. Our house is our element and the elements of nature. So we need to find ways to connect back to that and bring those elements inside of our house. In a way, I would say you need grounding. We don't have enough grounding.
Yeah.
So you can ground in different ways in your house. So you can have a space and use some materials, like you can use, like we talked about, wood, the earth. I'm sure you, the earth. I use again. They sleep because it's so important. They sleep. I always tell my patients, go out, put your feet on the ground, discharge all the energy that we are, like we stay in the internet, computer all day.
Yeah.
Laptop is even higher, that 3G, 4G. The laptop produces so much electromagnetic field and so on. So we need to find ways to unground, to ground ourselves and to discharge electricity. You can measure those electricities in your body. Yeah. So normally we have 0 to 2, and then it can go up to 2000. Like you can measure, like there are
Oh
equipments
my
that you can
goodness.
measure. So you really need to discharge. But before, we used to have disconnection outside. But
Yeah,
like
with the
sometimes it's
nature.
cold,
Yeah.
you don't want to put your feet in the grass. So you can use just like this earth sheet that you can put in your bed, and is a plug in it, and you
Mm-hmm.
connect to the earth part of your plug. So it's connected to that, and this is made of silver again,
Oh,
and then
okay,
you
so
put
that
under the
reduces the
bed.
waves.
So and then you can touch these, and before you connect to that, you can measure your electromagnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you touch this, and when it's plugged, you can see the difference. And this you can see in different materials, like wool as well. Wool has this property, and cotton, they have the property of neutralizing. So and then again we go back to the quality of materials that you use in your house.
Very important. But
Yeah.
something on wool, something that just popped to my mind when I was growing up. My parents were absolutely adamant all our bedding, cushions, pillows, duvets, I had to sleep in wool. like I basic full stop. And I remember they spent a little fortune on just getting the whole bedding for the household. And I remember I found it because they didn't want to put any kind of bed sheet over it. So I remember I found it really irritating. Like, what, can I not be like normal and just normal bedding? But now I would kill for it, because it's a fantastic now it made me realize, like, oh, that was actually really good for me.
Yeah. Cotton and wool, they are isolating materials, ventilation, lighting, so important, lighting, as you said.
Yeah, a lot of homes that we see, they're just so badly lit. Yeah, it's very sad for me to see that, because I mean, again, clients do realize, but obviously then they bring us in to help them with that, to help them kind of get the right level of lighting. But actually, most of the time what we see are very few sources of light, or artificial light, of course. I mean, natural light is very, very important, but sometimes, you know, we don't have a choice. Like, I mean, we have a choice where we live, but sometimes we are more constrained. And so it's important to kind of recreate that lighting with artificial light, but there should be a couple of sources of light, not one, not two. Usually there should be like 5+, depending on the space, really, if it's well lit. Yeah, actually, Jo recently counted. We were on a Zoom call, and Jo counted her lamps in the living room, and I think she counted 7 or 8, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
It's like, well done.
Yeah, it's amazing lighting, and you can use different colors. I just seen behind you a plant. Plants are very important elements.
Yeah,
in the
air
house.
purifying. Yeah, and also like what I'm reading on about now in that Feng Shui book is also that certain plants should be avoided in certain rooms as well. I mean, that goes so deeply into what serves us and what not. Like on a weekend, I went around my house and I basically changed the plants everywhere, because I started reading, oh, this is not good for the bedroom. Although it's an air purifying plant, it might not be necessarily good.
So you need to disconnection, your mind, your head with your body, and the whole of your energies with your environment, your house, this communication. And I think that's what we both try to bring, me more in the health area, and you as well. You're gonna affect the health for sure, but like that's my
just
focus,
in different just in different way. But I would say our homes are definitely extension of ourselves, so it's very, very important that we feel good in them, and they're healthy for us as well. It's not just oh, I have a beautiful home, but how you feel in it, and whether it does have all these elements, many different elements that are needed for healthy balance. So yeah, it's I'm pretty sure you get a lot of like satisfaction from helping, just like us, from helping people achieve that better health. Better health. I would call it health, although I know that some people might say, oh, where is the design and health? But actually they're very closely interconnected.
Health and well-being. Yes,
exactly.
It's beautiful.